Hi, spiritual seeker. This is Deepaloo, and I'm the creative mystic. And I ring this bell to awaken you to your divine self, that divine being, that divine presence that's within you 24/7. So I was inspired today to talk with you about the key to knowing yourself. And one of the reasons why the key to knowing yourself is so important is because it's the only way you're going to ever be really happy and fulfilled in your life and to fulfill why you're here on the planet is you have to know yourself. And it all comes back to, knowing yourself is about knowing what your heart's desire is. I want to start a little bit with why you don't know what your heart's desire is because of the way you were programmed when you were young. We've all been programmed to do basically what's practical, logical, safe, secure, and here's the big one too, what you can afford. Okay, you probably heard me say this before, maybe, but that programming blocks you from knowing, it blocks you from listening to what your heart's desire is. So I have clients and met people that they just don't know what it is. They want to know what their true heart's desire is so they can actually be happy and fulfilled, because somewhere they know that they're not happy because of the fact that they don't know what their heart's desire is. So it's, really important to start to connect with that. You have to, the key areas of what you need to do with your heart's desires, you have to listen to your heart's desires. You have to acknowledge and accept your heart's desires, and then you have to act on your heart's desires. Sounds really simple, right? 3 simple steps: listen, acknowledge, and act, you know. But the challenge is that one, most people don't listen to their heart's desires. They listen to um, something they want, but not the heart's desire. The thing that's really trying to get you to act on and why you're on the planet is your true heart's desire. And most people don't listen to it because of that program of, I have to do what's practical, I have to do what's logical, I have to do what's responsible. I got to do what's going to keep me safe and secure. And that big one I just mentioned, what you can afford. And I repeat them because I want you to really get how important it is for you to understand this programming that prevents you from knowing what's true in your heart, what's your heart's desire. It's what's preventing you from knowing yourself. And the fact that you don't know yourself is what makes it so you're not happy, why you're not fulfilled, why you feel like something's missing. You ever been there? I know I felt that way at one point in my life when I was much younger. I felt like, life is pretty darn good. I was making a lot of money, had a house, cars, went on vacations, but something was missing, and the reason why something was missing was because I grew up doing what was responsible, what was practical. It had to be logical, and in that realm of what I can afford. And now you might be wondering, like, is she saying get in debt? No, I'm not. Okay. But if you use money as your decision-making process, you will forever be unhappy. The money, when you start to learn about manifesting, you learn that you have to choose from what's true, what you truly desire, okay? And then worry about the how you're going to afford it. But what most people do is they just say, "Oh, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. I can't afford that." So they're just cutting off any truth of maybe something that speaks to them. Or it could be something they see that inspires them, but yet their mind tells them to not get it because it's a waste of money and that's not practical. So I want to show you something here. This is my little unicorn owl. I bought it because it reminds me to be my authentic one true self. So in other words, doesn't matter how I show up, even if it seems like something that can't logically be there, like who ever heard of a owl unicorn? Unicorns are supposed to look like a horse, right? But I bought it because I thought, this reminds me to be my true self, to not worry about what other people think, to not worry about how I look or how other people are going to think of me because of what I'm choosing, but to do what's true for myself. And that's what I love about this multicolored, all this rainbow effect is about honoring all the multifaceted parts of me that, are silly, and the parts of me that, you know, love to have fun, and the parts of me that, are spontaneous, and the part of me that likes to get things done and accomplish things, because, I have like these different parts of me that I need to honor all of them. The part of me that likes to accomplish things, but the part of me that likes to have fun, and the part of me that loves to act on my inspiration, and especially loves to act on my intuitive downloads, the guidance from my spirit guides. But there was a time when, and it can still come up for me now, but far less, because of of what I've been doing about coming from what's true, my true heart's desire, is I can look at something sometimes and say it's silly, like bad, like as an adult, I shouldn't be wanting that. Or as an adult, I shouldn't be desiring to do this anymore. And that squishes your heart's desire. That is what makes it so you're not listening to it. So you have to realize when that programming is going on, because like for me, when I grew up, I heard a lot from my father, you're irresponsible, you're irresponsible, you're irresponsible. And so I kept trying to do what was responsible, not necessarily what my heart's desire was wanting, but what I thought responsibility looked like. And it was really what I thought my parents would think was responsible, rather than what I thought was responsible. So you really have to start to understand that programming, and it can be really challenging for you to see for yourself on your own, because we have a blind spot, which is ourselves. An outside person can really see it easily, but ourselves, often we can't see the thing that's keeping us caught going around in circles and around and around. And so it's a practice to start to listen to your heart's desire. I recommend everybody who wants to really make transformation and step into, that their calling, their heart's desire of, why they're on the planet, that you get support with someone who really understands, you know, the way the universe works, and how to step into your heart's desire, and also how to change your programming, because those are the things that really keep people stuck, is your blind spot, the fact that you don't understand the programming you have and how to change it. You also don't know how to connect with your higher power, whatever you call that higher power, whether it's God, spirit, Buddha, Allah, it doesn't matter the name, but how do you connect? That's one of the things, or all of these things that I just mentioned are things I do with my coaching clients, my mentoring clients. So I really help you to understand how to step into these laws and listen and learn how to honor your heart's desire, because I know listening to your heart's desire is what's going to bring more joy into your life, more success into your life, more happiness into your life, more meaning into your life, because that's so important, that meaning, when you're making the money and you have the house and you have things, but yet you feel like something's missing, or like, I just don't have the meaning I desire. You're not listening to your heart's desire. You've done something, maybe too much of the logical, safe, or practical thing, or what you think you should do. Those things are all not listening to your heart's desire, because your heart's desire is your truth. I want you to get that. It's not something silly. And that's what I grew up was thinking, that my heart's desire was something silly or irresponsible. And I had to understand that, no, my heart's desire is my truth. I'm supposed to be acting on this, because I was programmed to, you're going to go to college and you're going to get, a white collar job, and you're going to, all these things. I had a difficult time stepping into my spiritual self, because I grew up in a non-spiritual family. I had a challenge really accepting myself completely as a spiritual being, because I thought I was supposed to be, capable and responsible and successful. And I was that, but I was ignoring the truth of that. One of the most important things in my life is spirituality, that I wanted, that my true heart's desire is not silly, and that programming can still come up, where I see something and I like, it inspires me, it brings my joy, and I think, oh, that's silly, because maybe it's something that a little kid would get. But if it inspires you, if it awakens and stimulates your joy, I shouldn't say stimulates, but awakens, okay, the joy you have, then it's worth getting. Because why are we on this planet? We're here to learn and grow, to do our heart's desire, and our heart's desire brings us joy. So that first step is about learning how to listen to your heart's desire. And you have to honor and realize when your heart's desire is giving you an inkling, okay, to like that you're to do this. Um, and when is the subconscious programming coming in of, oh, that's, that's not practical, that's not logical, that's not safe. I need to be responsible. I do, and a lot of times if you're saying I should do this, that should or have to is practicality, logical, responsible, safe, secure. It's not your heart's desire. Now, I am not saying your heart's desire is something that's not practical, not logical. Okay. In fact, in some ways, your heart's desire is the most practical thing you can do because it's why you're on the planet. But it's your definition of what practicality is what keeps you from doing it. Whatever your parents thought were practical, that's what you were programmed is. This is a practical thing to do. Doesn't mean it's true. It's what they thought was practical. And so they've instilled it in you. They've programmed you to think that's what's practical. And that's why you're doing it. So you have to really start to sit back and take a moment. Like, what do I really think is practical? Not what my parents think is practical. Okay. What's true for me? What's logical to me? Okay. So you have to listen, and you have to listen more than just with your ears, because your heart's desire doesn't necessarily come through what you're saying to yourself, what your mind is saying to yourself, because you can be in your subconscious mind. You have to listen. When you're listening to your heart's desire, one of the things I tell people is you have spirit guides and they're here to help support you in living your heart's desire. That's why I do work with the spirit guides. I can tune into yours. I use my spirit guide portals that come in and give intuitive guidance, because when you connect to higher power, okay, whatever spirit guides you believe in, God, Buddha, Allah, whether you believe in you're a Mother Mary person, I'm a Divine Mother and a Mother Mary person, but I'm also connected with the angels, and I get visions of many other spirit guides. But the spirit guides, your spirit guide, your God, the universe, your higher power, is here trying to help you step into your heart's desire, because you are here on this planet to fulfill that. Okay. You're not here to just go around in misery and not like your life. Your heart's desire will fulfill you with joy, will fulfill you with purpose. In fact, your heart's desire is your purpose. Okay. So that's why you're here, and you have to listen to those little inklings that you're getting, those little things of desires of, oh, I love that. Oh, that inspires me. Oh, that brings me joy. Oh, I feel called to do this. All of those, that's your heart's desire. And you have to take a moment and pause to be able to self-reflect when they come, because they come in a moment. Usually it's like they talk about God's voice as being a still, small voice or soft voice, but they come in a flash. And if you're running around in a busy day, trying to do this and trying to do that, and trying to do the next day, all the things you want to get done, it comes by, flashes by, and you're so busy you don't even notice it, and you forget about it. Or you don't even acknowledge it because you don't even know you're having it, because, you're so busy with I have the shoulds and the have tos and the responsibilities that you have to get done. So I tell you, if you want to start to listen, pause. Pause throughout your day and take a moment to check in with yourself. Am I sensing something? Am I feeling something in my heart? Is there something that is, like that I'm really feeling called to? Am I getting a download, but then I'm just pushing it aside because I'm so busy? But pause. You take a pause to check in with yourself, to check in with your higher power, your spirit guides, to see, like, has there been a message? Am I noticing anything? You pause, become aware of what's happening outside of you. Maybe there's something speaking to you, and inside of you. Like, are you noticing a feeling in your heart or in your stomach? Or are you sensing something, a feeling? Okay. Everything is communicating to you. Your higher power, Your spirit guides are communicating through what you sense in your body, what you sense in your mind, of your five senses, and what's happening around you in your life. Okay? So then you've got to acknowledge it. See, that's why you've got to pause. You got to pause because you're never going to acknowledge it. Now, I say acknowledge and accept because sometimes, I don't know if you ever do this. I know I do. I've done it definitely, and I can still do it now, but I practice to really acknowledge something. Sometimes I like acknowledge something, but I get busy in what I'm doing and I haven't fully accepted that this is for me to do. See, so I acknowledge like, Divine Mother's talking to me through this, or I've seen this twice. Seems like this is something I'm to do. Because I don't fully accept it, like, they accept that this is important. My heart's desire is speaking to me, spirit guide speaking to me, need to go do this. That when you accept it, you go, this is something I need to do, and you decide when you're going to do it. Okay, that acceptance says, okay, this is important. You acknowledge the communication, you acknowledge the desire in you, the feeling in you, and then you've got to accept that it's for you to do. Okay, so it's acknowledge and accept. Okay, and then after you've acknowledged and accept it, you've got to act on it. Now, why do you need to act on it? Because you're getting these things because it's for you to do. When you act on your heart's desire, you're starting to help the reprogramming process of your subconscious mind. Okay, we reprogram our mind, our subconscious mind, through repetition and experience. And so when you act on something, you're giving yourself an experience. And that experience gives you new information. And that new information then helps to reprogram your mind like, maybe there's possibility. Maybe something can be this different. Maybe I'm not supposed to be making up my mind by practical, logical, responsible. So you have to start to understand that in order for you to continually act on something, on your heart's desires, and know yourself, because your heart's desires are all about knowing you, knowing the true you, the reason why you're on the planet, what you're here to do. It's so important to know yourself, because until you know yourself and do your heart's desire, you will forever be unhappy. You will forever feel unfulfilled, like something's missing. And so you really want to connect with what your heart's desire is. That's what your spirit guides are here to help you with, of like, what's that next step in your truth? Because your heart's desire is your truth. People think they're different. In fact, the programming makes people think your heart's desire is something that's not practical, not logical, and you shouldn't do it because it's silly or something. But no, your heart's desire is one of the most important things, because the only way you're going to be fulfilled and happy and fulfilling, especially while you're on the planet, which is to fulfill your purpose, what I call your holy calling, you have to be following your heart's desire. So it's pause, acknowledge and accept, and decide when you're going to act on it. And then obviously you've got to act on it. Those are the steps. And the three things you got to do with your heart's desire: listen, acknowledge, act. I guess it's 4. Listen, acknowledge, accept, and act, because you really want to act on it. And you won't act on it to actually accept it. Like, this is really something for me to do. So when you're doing this, you want to really take the time to practice it. You go out in your day and you pay attention. So I always, recommend even put a reminder in your phone, maybe 3 times a day, to pause and check in with yourself. Pause. Now, if you can do this without a reminder, that's great. Just keep doing it. Like, just pause. Like, I'll pause. Sometimes I'm doing something, and sometimes it takes a couple times. Like, something will have to happen twice, and I'll go, that happened earlier. But see, I know enough to pay attention that I noticed it earlier. And then the second time, I'm like, this is Divine Mother speaking to me. I need to, this is true. I need to act on this. Okay. And so you want to really start to practice this in your day. Now, what can speed it up? Getting support. You get support, you get a coach, a mentor to work in a program with you to really help you step into this, so you can listen to your heart's desires and know what it is and start to act on it. And then also they can help you to start to manifest your heart's desire. So if maybe there, because part of your heart's desire is going to be, you're going to realize certain things in your life, like maybe there's something for you to do, there's a purpose for you to fulfill. And that's one of the things I do with my clients is I help you fulfill your purpose, whether that's make a business out of your purpose, or maybe it's something you just want to do that's a nonprofit organization, or you just want to do it and be charitable in it. Either way, my reason for being on the planet is I want you to step into your holy calling, you know, your purpose of why you're on the planet, because I know as you step more into this purpose of yours, your heart's desire, the reason why you're on the planet, it's going to transform the whole planet. The more people we get following their heart's desire, the less wars we're going to have, the less unhappiness we're going to have. We're going to start to see the planet transform, because the more people we have in their heart's desire means you're in the energy of what you love. And you're here to be on the planet to do what you love, not what you hate, not what you dislike, not what you just have to do and settle for. It's not about settling. It's about how do you do your heart's desire. And I tell people nowadays, you can make a business almost about out of anything with the internet. It's amazing what you can do and make money with nowadays. So, like there are a plethora of possibilities. And when you start to connect with your heart's desire more and more, you start to realize that. Now, one of the practices I do with people who want to work with me, I do it even when people want to like connect with me, is I want you to start connecting with your heart's desire right away. And one of the ways I talked about is pause. Now, a way that really helps you is if you take your hands and you actually put them on your heart with the intention of, what's my heart's desire? So rather than making a decision from what you can afford, because that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't have what they desire and they're not following their heart's desire, is that if you don't have the money, your parents have told you you can't buy it. Okay, now I am not telling you to put things on credit card. What I'm telling you to do is you connect with what's true, what's your heart's desire. If there's something that, like, maybe you desire to go on a trip to France, or you desire to be like an artist, or you desire to like buy a new car, whatever that heart's desire is, because your heart's desire is spirit, is God speaking through you. Okay, your desires aren't there randomly, your heart's desires, okay? They're there because spirit is trying to unfold your life into the greatness it's meant to be, okay? So you take the time to put your hands on your heart and check in with yourself of what's true, not what you can afford. You got to like stop that question and just go, what's true? Now, if something you desire is out of what you believe you can afford, then you learn how to ask the next step, the next question. That's what I do with my clients is, how can I afford it? How can I manifest this money? How can I manifest this in my life? Because then we can start to like, what needs to shift in your consciousness to be able to manifest this? Because everything is consciousness, right? Everything is energy. Everything is consciousness. We manifest by the level of our consciousness. And sometimes we have to learn that the next step is, how do I shift my consciousness? How do I reprogram my subconscious mind so I can have a different energy and consciousness to manifest more? So it's different for each person. That's why there's no cookie cutter method. That's why I work with the people. I find coaching helps people tremendously because it's, directed towards where you are physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And that's the thing, is your next step is determined by where you are, not by where everybody else is. Okay? Because it's important that you let your greatness out. Remember, I always say, remember, greatness is within you. It's time to let it out. So if you resonate with this, I'd love for you to subscribe. If you have any comments, shares, questions, I'd love to hear from you, because, I love to get feedback and find out, is this helpful? What would make it more helpful? What experience you've had? Maybe you've tried this. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Have a miraculous day. Blessings.